8,000 sports in the world, but today we care about just two.
For this week, anyway.
Doggy!
It'll be a miracle!
Keep going. Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Shports. What a weekend of preliminary final action across both codes. Let's start Saturday night. The Doggies.
Oh.
The Doggies. The
Doggies.
best story of the AFL this year.
This is the closest thing I have to Bulldogs colours, so I thought I'd chuck it on and lend my support to what is now surely everyone's second
Absolutely.
AFL team in the country. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Unreal game. And that's what you want from preliminary finals football, isn't it?
The desperation at the end, the final 10 minutes was just, they were out in their feet. I don't know if that's going to have an impact on next week. Let's hope not. But it was just, it was an amazing finish to an amazing game.
Just a war of attrition. I really enjoyed it, particularly the last quarter. It was neck and neck. You could just tell that with about 5 minutes to go that the next goal would probably be enough. There were so many near misses, the desperation on display from both sides.
Yeah.
And then, the full-time siren went. It felt like, we were playing in Bulldogs territory. The noise.
Oh, it was
just
unreal.
amazing.
They really got up there to Spotless, and good to see Spotless pretty much full, pretty much
Yeah.
at capacity, and
Yeah.
the western suburbs of Sydney really embracing their new team, GWS. Probably unlucky. They had maybe a few calls I've read online. People are saying didn't go their way towards the end, but
But
can't blame the
give
umps
me-
on that. That was,
give me a game where you don't read shite like that.
Yeah, no, totally. No, the Bulldogs just... People have written them off all year, myself included, that they had too many injuries and too much hardship, but they just played for each other, and they are a galvanised unit if ever there was one. And Bulldogs
grand
fans,
final against
first
the...
grand final since 1961.
And coming from 7th place,
Yeah.
1v7. You don't see that ever.
No, doesn't happen very
It's
often.
going to be a huge game next weekend. I can't see the Swans getting done, but anyway,
We'll make our predictions
we'll
later.
chat about that in a little bit. Across the code, the Storm Raiders game was easily the best NRL game of that week. James, what were your thoughts?
Oh, I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear on Facebook.
Don't follow James on
No,
Facebook when there's a game of football on, ever.
No, not when I'm passionate about one of the teams that's playing. I really had high hopes for the Raiders. A couple of months ago in Shports, I saw some similarities between... I sound like Gus Gould here. Oh, back
Yeah.
Although Gus Gould never admits when he's wrong, and I was wrong on this occasion. I saw similarities between the Raiders and the Tigers of the 05 season. Sadly, Storm, too clinical, and clinical beats spontaneity sometimes, which is a shame. A lot went against them. It was a gutsy performance from the Raiders, but the Storm, they just keep on rolling.
To lose by 2 with everything that went against them in that game, a couple of the calls, and then obviously the injuries as well was a pretty fair effort.
It was a very brave performance by them, particularly at the end there, to keep just trying and trying. Edric Lee doesn't drop the ball and scores that try with 13 minutes to go, or whatever it was. Who knows what could have happened? You never know. The spontaneity might have got them across the line.
Old Edric Lee, we were saying just before the show that he's rocks or cubic zirconia. Friday nights, we had the two kind of blowout games.
Yeah.
Well, blowout in a sense that there was really only one team that was going to win. The Swans were fantastic. The Geelong side, week off, you would have thought they'd be a little bit more...
Yeah, the Swans
intense.
just too professional. They've got too many champions, and all their champions stood up. I don't think I've seen a better first quarter performance from Buddy Franklin in a finals before. He obviously is a freak, but when he has an influence like that on a game, look out. Try stopping the Sydney Swans. Parker was playing excellent. Rowan came back after a knee injury and looked like... What knee injury? He was running around kicking goals all over the park. Yeah, no, they look hot. They look... just a completely different team to the team who got belted by GWS. So, yeah, look out, doggies. But, yeah, no, entertaining game in that if you're a Swans fan, it was fun to watch. But, yeah, Geelong, unfortunately, just didn't really turn up and just got steamrolled in the first quarter there.
Which happens sometimes. And the other team that didn't turn up over in the NRL was the Cowboys. The first 20 minutes were just... looks like they'd really taken the last 2 weeks had taken its toll on them. A massive game against the Storm in week 1, even bigger game against the Broncos in week 2, and it showed.
I think when you have a couple of really big games like the Cowboys have had, you have to either, pace yourself to a degree or just start really hard and try and blow the opposition away and hope that you can hold on when the fatigue sets in later. They didn't help themselves. 4 errors in the first 20 minutes. Thurston kicking it out on the full, a couple of penalties going against them, and they just did a mountain of tackling. They hung in there, but the Sharks kept their nerve, and late in the game it showed. They kicked away, and they were never headed, like you said, Jack, the Sharks.
Well, let's move into look forward to next week. The Sharks, we've got we've got the Dogs with the longest premiership drought in the AFL at the moment, and the Sharks who've never won a premiership. Both underdogs.
Could be a fairy tale weekend.
Could be a fairy tale weekend, but let's start with the Doggies.
Doggies v Swans. Look, I'm gonna back in the Doggies here. I'm gonna make a bold call and say from the moment the final started, I was like, let's just get on the Dogs. Let's just ride this train. And I hope this game, like you said, the momentum is still with them, and it was a very energy sapping game, and they've had a couple of injuries from it as well, so hopefully that doesn't hamper their performance on Saturday. The Swans are a very professional unit, so I just hope it's a ripper like last night. That's all I hope. But Doggies by 5.
Doggies by 5. I'll go. I want to go with my heart, but my head says that the Swans will just be far too good. So Swans by 4 goals.
I'm going to go Swans by 19. I think the Swans would have learnt a lot from the first final against GWS. The Bulldogs have many similarities, I think, with their style of play. I think the Swans are very well coached. They've got a lot of experience. They'll learn from that first final, and the big match experience will shine through.
Speaking of big match experience, Storm Cowboys. The Storm, obviously, Cronk and Smith are world class.
Sharks, actually. I'm sorry. Just because you say Cowboys doesn't mean
they're not there.
Doesn't mean that
they're not there. It's okay. They're not going to be there.
The Storm and the Sharks are in the grand final. I'm sorry, Jack. The Queensland teams aren't.
Yes, no. I predicted Storm Cowboys last week, so I just in my mind.
Oh, just quickly did predict Swans Western Bulldogs last week. So
well done. Storm Sharks, unfortunately. Speaking of big match experience, obviously Smith and Cronk. They've got the world's best prop in Jesse Bromwich. I think they're going to be too good for the Sharks on Saturday. On when are they playing?
Sunday.
AFL Saturday.
Good research.
On Sunday.
What a host.
Unfortunately.
That's what you think?
I don't have a team to go for. I don't like Craig Bellamy. I can't stand Paul Gallen. My granddad did used to go for the Sharks, so, I kind of should probably go that way, but I can't get excited.
I do love a good underdog story, as is evident by my backing in of the Bulldogs. So for Cronulla to have never won a premiership, a part of me is like, go Cronulla. Yeah. But I agree with you, Jack. I think the Storm will be too classy, too professional, and they'll run out winners. And also, how good is it to have both grand finals on the one weekend?
Oh, it's amazing.
Thank you for the buy round, AFL. This is excellent.
Saturday and Sunday, it's unbelievable.
And a public holiday Monday. Get as drunk as you want, Australia. Go for it.
That is the government saying it is okay to have a bender weekend.
Go for it.
It is great. I can't wait. I actually think the Sharks can do this. I feel like they're well drilled, but they've got enough spontaneity where they can throw a bit at Storm. I think they would have watched last night's match, identified a few areas where they can stretch Melbourne. I'm expecting a tight tussle. It's a tough one because the Sharks should be the sentimental favourites, but because of the grubs they have in their team, I guess the swagger that has put a lot of people off, it's kind of hard to
like them.
Yeah. And then you've got the Storm on the other hand. A lot of people kind of groaning. It's a little bit boring. They're in another grand final. It just continues. They're a great side. They've got big match experience. Both teams have got grand final winners. I've just, as Gus Gould said, there's a feeling of Sharks maybe peaking at the right time.
Yeah, possibly.
And grand final day, anything can happen. We've seen it
Exactly.
time and time again.
Oh, you gotta love sports.
That's why we're in the business. That's why we're in the business.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, just keep going like this until we close out the episode.
Yeah, salt of the earth, just team we are.
Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, who you think is going to win and why. Otherwise, enjoy a massive grand final weekend. We can't wait, and we'll see you in a little bit.